So when we talk about different planets, we're talking about consciousness, your consciousness as connected to the universe. The omnipresent consciousness is present everywhere, and so you can connect with anything in the universe by virtue of that, because it's omnipresent. You just have to go to the right level to settle your mind and then tune in. You just tune in because consciousness is everywhere and you are that consciousness. So every planet represents some facet of yourself in that sense. It's connected to you. So as I mentioned before, the sun represents your soul power, your energy of expression, of achieving your goals. It represents the core of your vitality. The sun is a great being that radiates so much light for billions and billions of years, well connected to God. As I have mentioned also, each planet is an aspect of divinity itself. So, meaning we are all expressions of the divine consciousness, ultimately. And so each planet is also an expression, but it radiates a certain quality which is unique to itself, the perfection of some quality. So Mercury is the perfection of the intellect and good humor. The sun is the perfection of soul power and expansion of the soul. Mars is the perfection of energy and directedness. Moon is the perfection of compassion and feeling. And Mercury is, I think I mentioned Mercury, perfection of communication also. We also have Jupiter, which is the expansion of wisdom and enthusiasm. And then we also have the planet Venus, which represents beauty and harmony and love and all those aesthetics, music, singing. And then we have Saturn representing simplicity, purity, being down to earth, literally, uh, being patient, being virtuous, being loyal, dedicated, committed, having stamina to follow through. And then we have the vortices created by the moon around the earth, and those vortices have consciousness too. One of them is Rahu, the north node of the moon, and the other one is Ketu, the south node of the moon. And so each of those has the qualities of expansion, meaning Rahu's expansion out to the universe and staying and keeping an open mind and having freedom, and Ketu is transcending, going deep, being able to be with something and go deep into it, being in the state of beingness. So each of these qualities of the planets can be accessed. We can access it by putting our attention there to reach out. And as I mentioned before, the great sage of astrology, Parashara, said that every planet is there to bless you as long as you appreciate it. So there's no reason to think of them as bad and this and that. That's a misunderstanding. If we have a lack of connection to one of the planets, then of course we're going to have challenges. Or without having Saturn's blessings, it's hard to crystallize things, hard to be grounded, it's hard to be patient, it's hard to be dedicated. Without Venus's qualities, well, we don't appreciate, we don't love enough. Without the Mars energy, then we don't know how to direct our energies. We don't have the vitality we need. So every planet carries a blessing. So if you want to have a particular quality develop more in your personality and your soul, then see if you can commune with the planets. Now each planet, how do you do that? I was leading up to this. How do you do that? Well, each planet has a name, and the name corresponds to its, you could say, its qualities. So the sun is Surya. Surya. It represents this light, this beam of light expanding out. Chandra is the name of the moon. And remember, if you know somebody's name, then you can talk to them, you can contact them. You call out their name, they're more intuitive than you are. And remember, we're connected by omnipresent consciousness. So we have that experience anyway. We think of somebody and they're thinking of us. That coincidence? It's not coincidence. It's because we're all connected in consciousness. Omnipresent consciousness is everywhere. The universal mind is everywhere. So the same way we say the name of a planet, like Chandra is the moon. Chandra. My cognition of that is that it's like gathering the light and then re-radiating it. Chandra. Taking the sun's light and re-radiating it. Then Mangal. Mangal is Mars. Another name of Mars is Kuja. It's a kind of a creative energy. And then we have Buddha. Buddha is that intellect, the enlightened intellect. Actually, Prince Gautama in history, in tradition, when he realized his divine nature, his higher self, he was called the Buddha, the illumined intellect person. So Mercury has those qualities, also has good humor, tremendous laughter and fun. So if you want more laughter in your life, talk to Mercury. He'll help you out. And then we have Guru, or Brihaspati, the great father. Brihas means great, Pati means like padre, pater, father. And so the great father, Jupiter, is great golden being, great enlightened being, and warm and expansive and enthusiastic is part of his quality also, but very honorable. Like you'd want to bow down and say, oh, you're the most honorable being. Could you teach me honor and wisdom and all that? And then you have Shukra. Shukra is a Shukra, again, re-radiate light. It's a kind of more creamy, toned down light, like vanilla light, and like ivory. And so Venus can be accessed through his name, Shukra. And then Saturn is called Shani, or Shana Ishchara, the one who moves silently, Shani. He's got this blue color that's kind of very cooling and very settling, and he moves quietly, quiet. And then you have Rahu, expansion, the north node of the moon, and Ketu, going to a point, transcending, going deep into things. So each planet has a gift to give. And that, as I've discussed, my experience with that was starting off by learning meditation. I learned, in my case, transcendental meditation, and then having a good teacher, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And so all that wisdom and understanding came, and he pointed out that all the sounds, the Vedic sounds, they create three-dimensional forms. It was a very advanced way of coding information by using sounds to create holographic forms. So you listen to those sounds and it creates some kind of three-dimensional form. And so there's a lot of wisdom encoded in that. It takes a silent mind to go deep enough to appreciate all those vibrations, those qualities. That's why that knowledge had been missing for thousands of years. So my first interest was to learn to meditate, to realize the higher consciousness, and then I taught meditation, I trained teachers in meditation, and then at some point I began to take an interest in singing. Not that I had a great voice, but I just wanted to sing to the divine. So I started singing, and I used these Vedic mantras, and then started doing thousands of ceremonies. During the process of doing the ceremonies, what happened was someone asked me to do something for Jupiter, and sure enough, when I did something for Jupiter, suddenly the Deva, or the divine energy, or the divine consciousness of Jupiter appeared to us both. And I was overwhelmed with the greatness and the beauty of that divine angelic aspect. And that was what started me off in astrology, really. That, and a friend of mine who brought me to understand more about the enlightenment value of astrology. How do you see God realization and enlightenment in the astrological chart? So astrology for me was meaningful. After we experienced that first planet, Jupiter, then my friends who also experienced with me the same things, experiencing the, you could call the angel or the deva or the light being of Jupiter, we decided to try to experience every one of them. So I became familiar with each planet, and realized that we have a family, we have a cosmic family, the solar system, and there's stars out there and galaxies that we also can tune into and appreciate. Astrology is not limited just to the present knowledge. It can keep on expanding. What my desire is to bring astrology to really understand what astrology is, to bring the understanding of that, and to show people that it's actually a science based on common sense and observation over thousands of years. There's nothing mystical about it. The only thing is that it's consciousness based. It's appreciating the fact that everything in the universe has the omnipresence of God in it. So it has a divine purpose as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how astrology is put together. I've already started that process by a few tapes, but I wanted to get into that more. And eventually what I'd like to do is to keep on going and to try to do something that is an entire course in astrology. So you see all the different facets. It will be a real adventure for us. And one more thing I wanted to say is I'm not so techie, so I don't have the best, graphics, illustrations, and so on. Someone actually made a comment on YouTube saying, well, do more of that. And I'm saying, well, I'd like to bring out the knowledge I have. It's something that I've researched deeply. And then maybe someone else can help me to do the graphics. But first, the knowledge should be out there. I think you get it. So we'll try to keep it step by step and enjoy each step. And I hope this brings you closer to that which is the deeper value of life, the self, the beingness of the universe, God. You can give many names, the Tao, the Tao. So anyway, that was my message for now, but I'm going to now, in the next video, just describe a little bit the evolution of astrology and some things I found out about how it's set up in terms of not just the 12 signs of the zodiac, but also what is commonly used or talked about in terms of the stars, the nakshatras, as is mentioned, why they have a role to play. So till we talk again, enjoy.